All right, so you may remember we had Jory Epstein as a guest on this show. Jory is an NFL writer for Yahoo, and I happened to cross a column that she wrote in the last couple of days in which she says that she's heard that Deshaun Watson is very much in the mix to compete for the Browns starting job.
And once again, we ask, heard from who? Jory Epstein, not Jordy Nelson. Who? But they're going to keep on pushing this off-season fodder for clicks and views. But it is important to document the nonsense going on surrounding Shedeur Sanders still. After his stellar play down the stretch in 2025, they want to act as if he's not that dude. But let's keep going.
And that could play a role in whether the Browns go outside of the organization or not. I heard Nathan Zegura today. I didn't hear it, but I saw a clip or the headline. As Nathan was on with Ken and Daryl this morning, and he was like, we can't have more than two-guy competition. You got to have no more than a two-guy competition, and I agree with him. We can't. Last year was ridiculous.
Well, maybe they can make another field, and we can have six guys in this.
Yeah, I mean, it was stupid. The Browns don't have a sure thing at quarterback, so you got to have a competition. But it's got to be two guys, in my opinion. Any more than that is stupid. Zegura actually made the point that if they bring in a legitimate contender to start,
I think Shedeur Sanders can be a sure thing with the right team around him.
That either Watson or Shedeur has to go. And if they don't, then it's just Watson and Shedeur, and that's it. I agree with that, too. But anyway, Jory Epstein was saying that she thinks Deshaun Watson is very much in the picture. Here she says, Browns head coach Todd Monken sees promise in Shedeur Sanders, league sources say, but Sanders will not be handed the starting quarterback job. And some sources with knowledge of the Browns' conversations wonder if he'll even beat out the in-house options, which, of course, is not Dillon Gabriel. The questions don't primarily stem from...
These are the same people that were singing high praises about Dillon Gabriel last year, saying that he was just better than Shedeur. He's more athletic. He can read defenses, the supercomputer. And don't forget, there's still an ongoing campaign in the NFL, not just with the local Cleveland media, against Deshaun Watson. They cannot get past the fact that he was never charged with a crime. They thought it was their sure shot to finally let their anti-black racism out, but it backfired because he was never charged with a crime because he didn't commit a crime, according to a grand jury 2 times in Texas. Let's keep going.
Uncertainty about Sanders, they instead stem from a growing undercurrent of belief that Deshaun Watson could make a serious push at the Browns starting job in 2026. We got one more.
And that makes sense because he's a veteran. He was a top-notch quarterback before he got injured.
Here, or comment. Watson due $46 million guaranteed this season, whether or not he plays, which gives the Browns motivation to keep him on the roster. And in a 2027 quarterback draft class that's much stronger than the 2026 group, and there's reason for the Browns to eschew costly quarterbacks this offseason. Deshaun Watson legitimately in the mix. Let me start here, guys, because it was as much of a disaster as it's been, and as weird a spot as it might put the Browns in if he's good again. It would still be great if he was good again. I'm sick of punting for next year. I'm sick of let's stink for a quarterback. I want the Browns to win football games, okay? So if Deshaun Watson could be a good football player again, that would be ideal. And maybe these coaches to be a coach in the NFL, you got to be arrogant, you got to be confident. You got to believe you can get something out of somebody that other people cannot get. I just find it nearly impossible to believe that a guy who has had 2 ACL surgeries, a torn Achilles tendon, a broken shoulder, has barely played in the last 5 years, and when he's played, for the most part, has been bad to awful. The idea, and as Quincy...
That's not true. He had some good games with Cleveland. He won, in particular, at Baltimore and San Francisco one year. had a lot on his mind with the lawsuits and with sports medicine these days. You can come back from those types of injuries.
When Quince Carrier on yesterday, he brought up the point that for the second time in 5 years, he's sitting out 700 days, and that's if he plays in week one. I think he said it would be 690-something days.
And he was sitting out mostly because of the lawsuits, the bogus allegations.
Which is, almost 2 full calendar years. I just find the possibility that he could still play at a high level
Make that a big reason why he was sitting out.
to be almost impossible. But I wouldn't, with the Browns and with the other options, I won't completely write it out. At least I won't completely write off the possibility that they are giving him a legitimate chance to win the job. What say you, Jason?
That hurt his heart.
Chew on that.
Hurt his soul.
No, I can't wait for 10 years from now. We can go back and watch some of the nonsense that we have to say. This is the worst quarterback room in the NFL. It's not debatable.
And this is a Browns fan talking. It's not the worst room in the NFL. That's not true. Now, they are going off of the statistics because the stat geeks like to use stats instead of football, instead of play on the field to prove their racist points. But let's keep going.
So what do you choose between here? Now, I've said, if you're telling me it's got to be Shedeur or Deshaun, I am Shedeur 1,000% of the way. I don't want to see Deshaun Watson back on the field. What does that prove? What are you trying to get out of that? Where are you trying to go?
The current coach.
And don't forget, this fake Deshaun Watson hatred is based on the allegations from the massage therapists. They try to disguise it as football, but it's the old black man is a rapist thing. And again, I'm not calling Jason or anybody else a racist. I don't know. But their behavior is so peculiar and so familiar.
Staff just wants to win. That's all they care about.
I get it. But again, this goes back to what I've said since they fired Kevin. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do? Because you said in March that this is going to take a while to dig out of this.
But they also said
And their boy Kevin, he's gone.
they should have won more games.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it can't be both.
And I'm saying Kevin Stefanski is not walking through that door. So their source of bullshit information is gone. Let's keep going.
Which is it? Is it going to take a while to dig out of this? Or do you expect to win 7, 8, 9, 10 games and compete for the playoffs? Which is it?
I don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere in
Bush?
between. I think with this, let me see if I can unpack this in a way that kind of makes sense. So I think one thing that we got to come to the realization is that the Browns have to have a level of accountability. And what do you mean by the level of accountability? The accountability piece comes from the fact that when you offer a guaranteed contract, when you offer somebody that and you put all your chips in, that's not something that you can just walk away from. And so Deshaun Watson is on this roster because of that ramification of the decision that they made. Mm-hmm. And if you look at it, they even restructured the deal now. So they're in a position where they have to restructure. He has to be on the roster for them to have operating capital. So if you got a guy that's making that much money and you're not getting rid of him, then obviously, is it a long shot? You ran down a laundry list of all the different things that was going wrong with him. Yeah. And that is a good point that Quincy brings up. It's 700 days between, he's done that twice.
This will be the second time.
This is the second stint doing that. Yeah. So if you say what percentage chance is he going to ever get back to what he is, that percentage is low given his history and the time off. However, he's on the roster and he's going to be on the roster. So if you look at it, because of that cap situation and because of the money, any reclamation projects, the Richardsons, the Malik Willises, or even if you want to go outside and get a veteran or trade for another person, Deshaun Watson is the reason that isn't happening because of he's there on the roster. It's there. So that puts a mark on it. And then
you think it's not happening because of that?
Yeah, I think.
You see, I almost think the opposite, G.
If your roof is over 10 years old and you are paying full price for replacement, you are
not happening because of that.
Yeah, I think.
You see, I almost think the opposite, G, because, and I mean, I could be totally wrong about this, but my thought is, if this was all about the future and you were just gonna punt see what Shador can do, and if he plays well, move forward with him. If he doesn't play well, you're going to stink, and you draft somebody high next year. But if you were going to do that, then why not go all in? Just take the massive cap hit on Watson now.
I don't
They
think
can.
they can't.
They can. That's
Right,
I've been advocating that for a
they
year.
wouldn't be able to make any moves or not much.
So then, at the same time, I mean, I think that it's a mix of both. I think yes, they understand that Deshaun Watson is a mistake given the fact of what he's being able to do, and I also believe that they also think that I need that money on the books so that I can get better at certain other positions and to field a
Right.
team.
You are talking about putting a quarterback out on the field that the owner said was a mistake to sign.
Yeah.
And that I wrote when he got the Achilles that people in the organization would tell me it's like a black cloud was lifted, removing him.
Now, he
And
does appear to have a nice relationship with Shador Sanders.
Yeah, he does.
So if Shador Sanders is going to be the starter,
And maybe
it's
And there we go with those people in the organization again with Jason Lloyd. Not naming who they are. Read Kevin Stefanski. How about you put him on the field and see what he can do? And if he's good, then that's good. Can he beat out Shador? Maybe. I think Shador is the odds-on favorite to be the starter for this year and the foreseeable future if the Browns are smart.
not a terrible idea to have Watson here.
and maybe they'll have so much turnover that the people who
Right,
want
right.
no part of this will.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's the facts. The owner said it was a mistake, and people in the organization say it's like a black cloud was lifted that he no longer was out there, and now you're inviting that back in, all of that back in.
But knowing
And
the
for
Browns, do you,
what?
All of what back in? See, they're talking about the non-criminal charges. Again, they're not going to let that go. They're going to use that with a lynch mob style mentality when it comes to black quarterbacks and Deshaun Watson. Let's go. They're going to use a lynch mob style mentality to disrespect and to try to get black quarterbacks out of the league is what I'm trying to say.
you think it's crazy that he could possibly play?
No, I mean, do I think it's crazy that he could possibly play? No, because it's the Browns,
Right.
And they will never admit a mistake and move off a mistake.
But here's the thing about we got to understand is Todd Monken is not part of the old Browns. So Todd Monken and his input into what
Exactly.
he's talking about, like you said, he wasn't there. Like he didn't take Deshaun Watson.
Right.
So for him, he like, all right, whatever y'all was doing before, my job is to go in there and to look at who the quarterbacks are and to believe, okay, can I work with them or not?
And I'm going to stop it there. Just wanted to point out that they are still on the anti-Shador Sanders, anybody but Shador nonsense. It's not going to work. But you all let me know what you think. Leave your comments in the box.